biggest carry we have seen in a long, long time. I'm not seeing the same for PePiiNeRO all the time. We know he can do it. We know Giants needs him to do it.
Will he do it?
Let's see what he's going to play this time around. Prediction?
So far, though, the one thing we can always rely on is there will be that Jax ban.
And a Kalista ban.
So we've got Kalista banned by Gambit, of course, no matter what side they're on. They always do ban it away for Given. Very adamant about not playing that. The Jace is also banned versus Betsy. And also this Fizz. If you remember, the last time these guys met up, gotta go back to week number 4, that was when Cabochard just got massively fed on this Fizz and pretty much ran rampant over Giants.
Yeah.
Ezreal will be that next ban. That's interesting.
Well, I mean, PePiiNeRO has shown this RuneGlaive Ezreal. I think it's a smart ban, I guess. Don't take the chance. Giants, they've changed up the way they play. It's a lot less focused now on a strong early game compared to what we saw in the start of the split, because it wasn't always going too well for them. It's more, and it's often been late game security, especially on PePiiNeRO, on one of these poke champions, and that has given Giants a chance, if they did steal a Baron, if they did punish the other team for making a mistake, of getting back into the game. RuneGlaive Ezreal was probably the main pick for them, so I like the ban from Gambit.
That's off the table, and it still counts as an AD carry, so I'm going to put that in the box with Kalista and Sivir also banned away. This, of course, would open up the Corki. Is it first pickable, though, with Ryze on the table? Guess not. That's going to go over to Cabochard.
Yeah. Ryze received changes coming into this patch. People were like, oh, Ryze, maybe not that strong anymore. No, he's still fantastic. Yes, he takes a little bit longer to scale up to late game, but once he reaches that point, he will be the biggest, or one of the biggest carries we have in the game.
As a certain jungler always says, change is good, Deficio.
No, what jungler is that?
Ryze. You wouldn't have heard of him. You haven't seen him for a while. Anyways, for Giants, I don't think they'll be picking that up at all. There is still all the junglers on the table. The Rek'Sai is open. The Gragas is open. I think Frederick has definitely preferred this Rek'Sai. And what will they decide to take?
I mean, the thing for Gambit here as well is there are very few picks you're afraid of against Giants. One of them was the Jax, banned away, easy. One of them was the Ezreal, banned away, easy. There are not really any other massive carry picks except maybe for this Morgana here. It was the pick for GODFRED in the start of the split. 4 wins in a row on it, then people start banning it away, and he had to find his footing on other supports, and we didn't really get to see the same performance. Morgana's been such a key pick for them because it also allows them to play a little bit more aggressive with the Black Shield, and they also have this potential pick coming through the bindings of GODFRED. Smiling.
He's very, very comfortable on this champion, that's for sure. Alistar's made it through the picks and bans so far, so that should be a no-brainer for GoSu Pepper there. And Echo, well, we'll have to see if that ends up getting locked in. Don't necessarily think so, but you can never be sure with Diamondprox what he's going to want to take.
I mean, Gragas here is the obvious one. He had pretty good performance yesterday as well for himself playing that Gragas. We had obviously the one per combo setup, the Yasuo, the Gragas, the Alistar. Gambit can't even wait for the jungle pick. I love Azir. I love to see it. I think he's such a good pick at the moment as well. Betsy plays it really well. Has been banned a few times against him. So I really, really like the draft so far with Gambit. Only thing you have to worry about is, will Cabochard get camped? Now he's playing this Ryze. He's already shown he's in the top lane. They've shown the 2 soul laners in the first few rotations. Can they make sure he doesn't get shut down in the early game? Then they should be more than fine with just the first few picks.
Yeah, when you're on a champion that wants to scale up, stack that tier, keep on going, you paint a target on your back, and there's always a big target on Cabochard. He gets so much of a share of the gold, he does so much of the damage. We'll have to see if Giants do in fact decide to focus their attention that side. Right now, still some time left before Giants tick down their selection for Adryh. He's been a guy that has been somewhat overlooked this split, but he has a potential to run wild now, locking in that Jinx, and the Varus goes over to PePiiNeRO, still wanting to do some backline poke.
So this is one of the things with Gambit. They're not running a straight up hard engage on this side. Then again, you can get a Righteous Lord and an Alistar. You have Azir. You can, of course, shuffle in and push someone back as well. Also the lane matchup in the mid lane. Bit of a skill matchup, but I can see Azir do really well into the Varus here. Especially if you set up ganks. That's the key thing. Varus, low mobility. Use your ulti on this Azir. Time it with some ganks and you can really shut him down.
See what Gambit pick up for their AD carry and for their jungle pickup. The Gragas, you said, very likely. I feel like Forgiven, Corki, been through the pick and ban so far. He's had a lot of success on this champion. Still available.
Yeah, but also, just going back to Giants real quick before we talk about Gambit, whatever they pick here. Giants running double physical already. Normally that would be then an AP top laner. The one that jumps to mind here for me is the Rumble, but that is one of the worst picks for Werlyb. He's not been having good performances on the Rumble. He's one of the champs he played against Gambit last time. He got shut down completely. We have seen him play Echo top lane as well, but obviously Giants have to try and balance out the damage a little bit. So far for Gambit, we get the Gragas, we expected it obviously with Rek'Sai already being there, so I feel like Gambit have enough tools to start fights.
Especially with Graves now too.
We're not talking hard engage here.
Or are we? Oh, we are. We got ourselves a Galio in the LCS, ladies and gentlemen.
So I was joking backstage about Galio quite a lot, especially with Tom Kinch, the new champion coming, how he can like shoot him into the enemy team. I did not expect to see it though. There's been some changes to Galio. I mean, he's been getting quite a few buffs, honestly. His ulti,
Sneakily.
we have to remember, a few patches ago, if people don't play Galio at all, Tenacity no longer works with his ulti. You need to have something that can directly cleanse it to get out of it. At the same time, which means, again, you're stuck there for the full duration, even if you have Tenacity. Also, the last few changes to his ulti now, his base damage on that at rank 3 is like 720. It's insane. There's a fantastic AP ratio on it as well. If you can land it, that is, of course. So, the amount of damage you can deal if you land the Galio ulti, that's always been one of his problems, is yes, it looks great if he gets that 3-4-man ulti, he blows up the enemy team, but getting there, he needs flash so badly to get into the back line with his ulti. I want to see how Werlyb can play it. I did not expect to see a Galio pick from him at all, but it's against double AP as well, the Ryze and the Azir. I have no clue about the matchup though. We're going to have to see how he does against the Ryze.
Well, we've seen it in Challenger, now we're going to see it in the LCS. And what do you guys at home want to see? Tweet at LOL Esports with the hashtag GMB win or GIA win. Who's going to rise in the playoff race with just a few weeks remaining before we get into this one? Oh man, this is going to be an interesting game, Deficio. And the crowd knows it. Getting ready to launch themselves into this game between Gambit and Giants. The race is on, and we're on the Rift.
All right, Giants with the surprises. This is the guy, by the way, Werlyb, in one of our features, who talked about how, you know, didn't really like these AP top laners too much. He wanted to play the big bruisers instead. He wanted to be a split pusher. This Galio is not the strongest split pusher himself. He wants to team fight.
He does, however, get the benefit of being relatively tanky. He'll get himself some of the best of both worlds, you might think. Let's see what Gambit do. They're going in for a very early, or rather, pretty much a Gambit invade. Frederick's going to back off after placing down the ward. Gambit going 5 members deep in here, so Giants, full vision of this, know what's up.
And let's also just see here, okay, how's Giants going to play this one out? They have poke from PePiiNeRO, you have fast pushing from the Jinx, long range as well with the rockets, so you can stand very far back, and that's where I think this Galio can come in and shine a little bit for them, because of the fact that Gambit is going to have to engage onto Giants, so that's need to walk into Werlyb and now fight early on.
Yeah, Diamondprox gets the belly bop onto Frederick. Very dangerous situation for the Giants early on here. Gambit muscling their way through the jungle. Not over yet, though. They're down the hail of arrows. Gambit are going to be backing out. Gust of wind towards Gambit. And they will be able to get out here, but it's been pretty close, actually.
Werlyb is going to hate GoSu Pepper, though, in this game. Pop that Alistar ulti, just headbutt him out of it or knock him up, and you stop that ulti for himself. So really, so much is about how can Gambit engage the fights? Can they dodge around this Galio here? Do they just tunnel into him? Because they gotta get to PePiiNeRO. They gotta get to Werlyb. More fights, by the way, Pirate. They're not done yet.
No, it's trading damage back and forth. This is going on quite long. The minions are nearly to the lanes right now. Everyone's gonna be a little bit late. Adryh still sending rockets out. They can cancel Betsy's back, and they won't be able to do it. Looks like they're just gonna be going for a full lane swap. Australia lanes.
Yeah, 2v2 top lane now, but Gambit taking quite a lot of damage. Adryh's full HP. GODFRED himself should have enough potions to just sustain back. And Werlyb, well, this is also another problem for Galio. He uses a lot of mana. He's almost running out of it, and we are only 2 minutes into the game. So we're going to have to see. I mean, Athene's always been one of the very, very key items to get as early as possible for this Galio.
Fortunately, he will get some free farms since Cabochard's a little preoccupied with helping out Diamondprox in the duo jungle scenario. Again, going back to that week number 4 matchup where we definitely saw some top lane terrors coming from Cabochard, was a big win for Gambit Gaming. Yeah. Giants can even the score here. That would be much better for them in the playoff race.
Very important for these tiebreakers we might have later on. If you go down 2-0 to one team, obviously, if you're tied with them in the standings, you will take a step down. Basically, what Gambit were doing here, they gave away blue buff and gave it to Cabochard. Also, as you noticed, he was tanking the camps, which means Diamondprox saves a potion. He's going to be a bit more healthy, he can jungle a little bit better. You take down these two camps very fast, share them. You get level 2 for both of them, and then you teleport down to the bottom lane. One few changes we have seen quite a lot. So blue buff for Cabochard. He's going to be a pain in a certain place early on against Werlyb, but killing Galio, who's going to stack MR, will prove to be difficult. The question is just what kind of pressure will Werlyb have in that lane? Is he just going to sit and try and wave clear it over and over?
I would imagine so. Cabochard up on the CS game. Take a look though.
PePiiNeRO also got the blue buff from Frederick gifted over to him. So both teams giving soul laners blue buffs is a message to all junglers that soul laners are right now, according to these two teams, slightly more important. But then again, it is a Rek'Sai that blue buff too badly.
It's very situational. That is absolutely for sure. Taking a look in the top lane where the duo laners continue to duke it out. Slight gold edge for Forgiven. That's nothing new for him. Back in an old favorite in Graves, who's seen a slight resurgence in popularity this week.
Yeah, seen him quite a few times. Obviously also we see a few small changes across the last few patches. The way it's working at the moment. Graves, very aggressive for Forgiven.
GoSu Pepper goes and gets the knockup, but Forgiven standing on the chompers won't be able to get that much more damage on him. Adryh chomps the biscuit and stays in lane for now, but it's a dangerous game. Taking a look back to his lane partner GODFRED, this Morgana has yet to lose a game for him. Yeah. This is his 5th game on it. It's been pretty much banned away from him ever since. You can see why.
Such a key pick for him and Giants. But this lane here, as long as Forgiven can get to sit there and stack up his passive on the minions, he can play super aggressive in the face of Adryh. And GoSu Pepper obviously can sustain him pretty well, even though it's against a double range lane. What you normally see with Morgana Jinx is you want to hit level 6. You want to have that full combo, and then you bind into traps, poke them down, and then you have your ulti in the very end. But it's not as effective as it used to be after the changes also to Jinx ulti. Lost a lot of damage in the early game. And Gambit looking to take a bit of control. The massive minion wave pushing in though, so Adryh should be able to at least almost even it out.
Yeah, still has been set a little bit behind to start, and this is the Forgiven game. He does like to challenge you on every little bit of CS you'll get. Diamondprox goes on a mission to go ahead and stomp some inner tubes. Got 1, got 2, looking for number 3. Make sure that Rek'Sai takes a while before Frederick can get in and out of his own jungle.
Really fun to see what was almost perm-banned in the end. Last split against Forgiven, the Graves. Such a key pick for him. Always played that lane bully style. Going back to it now. Instead of the Corki pick we've seen a few times, Sivir was obviously banned, Kalista was banned. That's what we see so often with these 80 carries. And Adryh is also I think it's safe to say he's one of the weakest laning 80 carries in the EU LCS. He's consistently down 8 to 10 CS at like 10 minutes. And it's been tough for him to have a big impact. And that's again why we so often talk about Werlyb and PePiiNeRO, because they are the carries on this team. It's not Adryh.
But on the other hand, in those team fights, he tends to definitely not receive as much attention. It allows him to clean up fights, allows him to dish a ton of damage. And as a result, he can definitely stay relevant here. So far, having a rough laning phase, that's for sure. Werlyb on the bottom side is getting some help. Meanwhile, from Frederick, and he will be able to pick some farm up. Actually developed a farm lead.
Yeah. We mentioned this, how there's not really any kill pressure for Cabochard, or shouldn't be at least, against a Galio stacking MR. We have the early chalice, of course. You need that for the mana region for Werlyb. I wonder if they're going to give him a blue buff as well at some point in the game, or just want to keep it on the Varus for maximum poke. And then, again, as we mentioned here, I figure we're going to see Werlyb obviously sit and clear the side lanes and have a teleport, potentially set up a flank for himself, and then you could chain an insane amount of AoE CC if you're Giants. Varus ulti, Morgana ulti, Galio ulti. I mean, you can lock down so many members. If Gambit is like trying to run at you and chase down to try and reach the back line, a great Varus ulti, a great position from either Galio or Morgana can really win the fight completely for Giants. And that's the thing for Gambit. There's no straight up, here's our hard engage. No, it's gonna be Gragas going and shooting someone back. That's not always the most reliable. There's Azir shuffle. Again, it's the same deal. You can make the big outplay, but it's not a flash anti-tippers or just an anti-tipper in general. And also GoSu Pepper, we expect him to get maybe a talisman, maybe a Righteous Glory, and use that speed up. So I can definitely see Gambit struggle to find the right engages against Giants. But if Gambit can win the laning phase, it might not even matter, because then the Jinx will take too long to scale up. And once a poke comp, or a Varus in itself, starts falling behind, you can so very easily just set up tower dives against him where he's not able to do anything.
There we go. Frederick back to the river. Yeah, it's going to be tough for Giants if they do get very far behind in this laning phase. However, you can already see the damage stacking up for Werlyb on Forgiven, who's swapped down to this bottom side. There's a shark in the water as well. Forgiven's got to be careful. Sends out the Prey Seeker. He's found him just outside. He's going to interrupt and force the Summoner heal, force the flash. 2 Summoners burn. Frederick still chasing through, going for the full dive. Forgiven's down. That's first blood. And the Werlyb just outside the range of assist.
Yeah,
I get that.
No clue why Gambit swapped down Forgiven alone. Look at GoSu Pepper. He's running from the mid lane in a lane that was already pushing in. Such an easy tower dive for Giants. There was 0 help. Forgiven just left on his own down here. Frederick, he's not done.
No, he's not by a long shot. Diamondprox came way too late to the party. Now, Adryh will get some much needed farm out as Cabochard still trying to threaten, still taking the damage as the minions put more damage onto that tower itself. Adryh has been actually allowed to catch back up pretty much in the farm game. He's only 4 or 5 CS down from his opponent.
I guess Gambit was expecting the same thing to happen to Cabochard if he stayed in the lane as well. But then what they should have done was have GoSu Pepper with Forgiven from the start, because again, the lane was already pushing in. So he was stuck on the tower, he couldn't go anywhere. GoSu Pepper should have been there with him to prevent this dive from happening. That's why they swapped away to Ryze, knowing that Galio can just keep pushing the lane over and over and over. Galio locks down Ryze and you just kill him in a 2v1 dive really effectively. Clearly showing also what some of the strategy is for Giants with this Galio pick. Push waves once you get the chalice, set up tower dives.
And if they do execute it properly, there's going to be very little that Gambit can do to break themselves out. That Idol of Duran, we've talked about how much damage it can execute if it lands. That flash play from Werlyb will be so crucial to Giants being able to execute these fights. And now, tower secured for Adryh and GODFRED up in the top. Nice gold in their pocket. Frederick now coming in onto GoSu Pepper, who has to flash away. Righteous Gust hits Forgiven. There's the idol. He's exhausted. Doesn't matter. Some decent damage there. GoSu Pepper now trying to heal up and stay alive. Slow did not connect, so he might be able to stay alive for just another second, but popped up and knocked up. And Frederick takes him down. Kill number 2 for the jungler.
Again here, Gambit. This is all due to the fact that Forgiven died at first. It has allowed Giants now to push the top wave. No pressure really. Cabochard being there on his own. He can't do anything as a Ryze early on. And then just go back to the bottom lane with Frederick. Great setup. Diamond is coming in now. He wants a piece of Frederick.
Might just get it too. Some shark fin soup. Forgiven looking to take him down, but Frederick pops up. Still a threat. Finally will take him down. It's Diamondprox that gets the kill credit. An overstay from Giants jungler. And a kill for Gambit.
Nice little counter gank, but still it's Giants with the early control. PePiiNeRO should not be sitting here doing his wolf camp. Betsy was allowed to move away from his lane for free. That wave could already been pushed down for him. It's about keeping the pressure up here. You had the pressure in the bottom lane, you've been pushing in top. Don't leave your mid lane and like start doing jungle camp. Just push it in. Get damage on him. You can see him. He really wants to go in. Also maybe feeling he's lacking a bit of vision around. But now Frederick is here to provide some for him and also clear out this pink ward. But Giants, the early control in the lanes. So far, Galio looking pretty decent for Werlyb as well.
So far, so good. Frederick looking to try and pincer Diamondprox and GoSu Pepper with Werlyb coming around the side. Gambit will back away from this one. Have to respect the Galio. Nay, fear him. And Giants Gaming looking to potentially set up for this dragon as they've thrown down the Scuttle Shrine. Several members of Gambit are here. However, Diamondprox is backing away.
Giants wants to push in this wave because the top lane was all the way down to Cabochard, so he's getting some farm back now. Werlyb want to go up and catch that wave after Dragon goes down. We can just see him TP up for it if he wants to. The Giants is trying to play a little bit safe. 5 guys near the bottom side of the map. Werlyb recalling now. And then he's going to catch that massive wave for himself.
Dragon taken out. Gargoyle going up to the top side. GoSu Pepper eats another binding from GODFRED. We got to keep counter on those. He has been so accurate on this champion. Another reason why it has been banned away from him so frequently. And for now, 12 minutes into the game, Gambit have had this slight lead. Or rather, Giants have had this slight lead after Gambit had a solid early game with the swap, but really gave it up a bit.
It was just a swap back to the bottom lane where they left Forgiven on his own. GoSu Pepper should have been there. It was simply to prevent the dive on Cabochard as well from happening. I mean, a Ryze can really push out too well either, because Werlyb is just going to keep doing the same. EQ the wave, and then it's cleared out, basically. Cabochard relying then on his ulti to do the same. So, right now, Giants are still waiting, though, for certain item spikes. You want more on this Varus here. You want us to get the T upgrade of GoSu Pepper. Popping that ulti. Going to go down to Adryh. So, for them, if you are Giants now, you are more than happy with this early game, and you still know, give it a few more minutes, then PePiiNeRO is going to hit this big mid-game spike, get an vintage on Adryh, and you can start really fast pushing down these towers if you poke people away. And Frederick, he's constantly looking for a gank around this Galio lane. Cabochard knowing that as well.
Has to play very, very carefully on this Ryze until he gets himself stacked up his tier right now. Working his way, not quite halfway there yet, about 300 stacks, growing all the time, and he will take a trip back to Fountain, grab himself a Blasting Wand, get closer to finishing that Rod of Ages off, but it does take a little time for all of that to start stacking up for this Ryze.
Yeah, and we really see how Giants have managed to dodge around Forgiven, and the early pressure he put on from this Graves pick. Not been able to have the performance he wanted to. And now this bot lane tower is extremely low, then Giants can rotate Jinx to the mid lane very effectively. Obviously Azir has great wave clear, but when you start landing the poke from PePiiNeRO, that's the key thing about poke is you don't necessarily have to kill people. You have to poke them so they have to go back to base or at least abandon the tower, because there's the risk of you killing them or diving them. And that's why Frederick's on the side as well. And then you start hitting on these towers and you just slowly chip them down.
They have options too. This poke, they're able to not fully commit and run away, land the Chains of Corruption on the GoSu Pepper to keep him from going. They do have to burn a flash as Cabochard came around the side. Diamondprox still looking to try and chase him down. A binding is going to connect onto Betsy. Still Gambit trying to get the catch and can't quite find it. Given now, facing off 1v1 against Adryh in the bot, he's going to go back to base. Jinx will be able to free push for just a moment. Those 280 carries very evened up after it looked bad for the Giants AD in the bottom, or rather in the top, to start this one off. Giants also defending this mid against the push.
It's going to be so tough for Gambit to siege towers. Galio wave clear, Varus wave clear, even the Jinx, if you just get a few seconds on the waves, can play them very, very fast. So Giants are going to make it super difficult for Gambit then to make the simple plays and group up and start poking down on towers. Instead, Gambit, they're looking for the big team fights. That's how they're going to have to win it. So that's going to be, again, Giants then trying to control the pace of the game, saying, now we want to group, now we want to poke, otherwise we can go back and wave clear. And wait for whatever cooldown they need. Teleport is soon ready for Werlyb if they want to set up a play now. They're predicting that he's moving up to take this big wave, and they might go for a dive. GODFRED is trying to follow, though. GODFRED is trying to follow. GoSu Pepper flashes around the side. They've got the knockups. Werlyb in there. Is he gonna pop the Idol of Durand? He doesn't have a chance to, as he's taken down. 4-man stack. They'll get the tower, and they'll get the Galio. So basically, Gambit building up a big wave. They knew Werlyb would be there to take it. Quick dive. No wards in the river at all for Giants, so they didn't even see the guys move up. They will take a mid tower, though. So we'll get something for it. We mentioned before, PePiiNeRO should just keep the pressure in the mid lane. Betsy wants to roam, keep pushing it in, over and over and over.
And all in all traded, 1 tower for 1. Giants have the edge there with all the outers gone down, and Gambit, that was their first, but they did get that crucial kill on the Galio. Betsy flashes and dashes. He gets out of harm's way. Forgiven, however, may not be so lucky. The big rocket comes out. Forgiven's going to flash away from it. Immediately, heal is on. GoSu Pepper can't connect as Frederick goes right in front of him. Collateral damage. Adryh almost goes down, but gets excited in the end and gets out with a kill.
Great plays here. Frederick flashing the headbutt from GoSu Pepper. Gets on to Forgiven. Almost blowing up Adryh as well in the end, but he was staying very far out farming on his own, and Frederick has been very active on the map. And now Giants, you have this mid tower down, you have your Varus with a blue buff. He's getting stronger and stronger. Well, if you be careful though.
Yeah, he has to. Diamondprox goes in. Belly bobs there is going to be Diamondprox, however, going very low. Flashes after the chains have finished up. Frederick comes in, won't be enough. Taken down. And that is going to be even more for Giants on the board as they throw down more damage to cover their tracks. Wave pushing in the bottom. Gambit Gaming have to move fast.
Yeah, Gambit Gaming really just been falling further and further behind in this game. Let's see the bottom. Forgiven is farming on his own very far. You can see GoSu Pepper is on his way to help him, but once again, it's Frederick moving on the map. Notice the flash coming in against the headbutt from GoSu Pepper. Beautiful play. And in the end, Forgiven trying to turn around, but too late.
Just enough to give Adryh that kill as well. Should put him over the edge a little bit in the gold game, as they've been very, very close ever since the very beginning when Forgiven had managed to push him back. We all know what happens when a Jinx is able to get ahead in a game. Forgiven should be able to take out this tower handily with the wave of minions there, but it can be dangerous. The Rek'Sai scream comes out. It's going to be for the blue side, however. And Adryh will be there to clear away vision. Forgiven actually has backed off of this, but the tower goes down nonetheless. And will he get out the headbutt? GoSu Pepper, there goes the Chompers. Diamondprox, the rest of Gambit are here. Adryh, he gets knocked into the team. He's going to get blown up. Forgiven collaterals him down. Too many members of Gambit there for Giants to handle.
And some of these squishy members here are going to be so easy for Gambit to kill if they can get the engage onto them. Diamondprox setting it up beautifully here, and then we see one of the reasons also for this Graves pick is just the burst you can do onto one of these AD carries. Both Varus and Jinx are not exactly going to be very tanky at any point. So Forgiven will be able to burst them down. The Galio, on the other hand, going to be a bit more annoying to deal with.
Does have that Zhonya's complete. He's got his Mercury Treads as well as a pair of rings, one on each finger. But for Giants, we haven't seen too many of these big Galio plays. It has just been the threat of him that is keeping Gambit at bay. Now, the Dragon has started up. It's a good timing since Gambit are really out to lunch here. No teleport available just yet for Cabochard, and no one else really in position to make the play. Number 2 will, in fact, fall into the Giants' hands.
So much for Giants and the way they want to play fights. It's going to rely on Gambit running at them. And then trying to get Gambit into a choke point, and then you have all this AoE CC we mentioned earlier, the Varus, ulti, Morgana, Galio, and so on. If you're fighting out in the open and it's Giants that have to start the fight, then they rely 100% on a flash engage from Werlyb. And that's not always the greatest and not always too reliable. So they are aiming, land poke, fast push down towers with the Jinx, have this threat from the back line, 280 carries, and then force Gambit into starting fights on them.
On their own terms. Remember what these teams are playing for as well. We tick past the 20-minute mark, both of them trying to get themselves ahead. One more win on the board. So important as the race for playoffs has tightened up between those middle-of-the-table teams. The win we just saw before this game with Giants Gaming being a win down versus Gambit. Can they even the score? Right now, they're making a statement for it, but they have to force Gambit to dance to their tune. Right now, not going according to plan, as the tower in the middle will fall. A little resistance replaced by an Azir turret of Gambit's choosing.
Gambit have done a very good job getting back to this game here after falling slightly behind in the early game, being able to keep pressure in the mid lane. We saw the pick down the bottom lane as well for them, and it's always been a problem for Giants. Whenever they play these poke comps, they tend to fall really far behind. This game they've done a lot better job in the early game. A lot of it was due to Frederick having some fantastic ganks early on, but they tend to fall really far behind when they play poke. And then they have to like slowly but surely claw their way back in, and they have to make one of these crazy plays where they like steal the Baron or PePiiNeRO goes crazy to then turn the game around. And that's one of the reasons, even though they've been sitting at this number 4 spot for such a long time, nobody really feel like, yeah, they're gonna make playoff no matter what. You know, they're for sure gonna make playoff, or they're getting better and better. No, it's like, it's too inconsistent, honestly.
Nothing is certain, that's for sure, and this is, it's the same strength and the same weakness that we saw in the Unicorns of Love last split, when it seemed like they could beat anyone, but they could also at the same time lose to anyone, including themselves. And now they may have some magical unicorn dust sprinkled on them, but that's not necessarily going to be enough come the playoffs, if they even are able to secure it right now. Gambit, on the other hand, they're a team that certainly has been improving week over week. Still some mistakes, but they've shown some absolutely fantastic performances as well. You look back to yesterday and just really, really solid play from them. Still need to close those gaps, and right now they've done a good job of it versus Giants after falling behind. The key is going to be not making those mistakes in the first place going forward, though. Yeah,
and then we're just going to have to see the big team fights, because Gambit misplaying it or mispositioning, and suddenly Giants is going to lock them down forever. But Gambit at the same time, if you look at the composition here, Ryze, Azir, fantastic consistent damage from those two, and great scaling into the late game also. Forgiven with the fact that Giants is building so much magic resistance, the Graves burst will be relevant for a long time in this game as well. We talked about how if they zone out an AD carry, they're just going to destroy him. So Gambit definitely have the tools as well. But now Diamond's getting jumped by Frederick.
Yeah, had to throw out his big barrel, but Frederick, meanwhile, is getting turned around on. But the rest of the of the Giants team are there as he flashes the wall into their arms. In comes the cow. GoSu Pepper goes in huge, but will he be able to get out as the Chains of Corruption land? Throws on his own ultimate, but as big as he is, it won't be enough, and PePiiNeRO takes him down. Over commitment, and now Cabochard's on the run, forced to flash. GODFRED flashes right into the wall. A little heavy here, and in comes Frederick. They really want to finish this one off. In comes the Rockets, gonna connect. Frederick nearly going down, backs away, and PePiiNeRO gets a second on the board as Werlyb came around the side. Giants capitalize on some misplays from Gambit Gaming.
This is what we mentioned, how Gambit needs to find ways to engage, and that was not the way to do it. GoSu Pepper jumping in. Also, he's the guy ready to stop the Galio ulti. So if he's using his combo offensively, and also with even the rest of his team not able to follow, Gambit, very uncoordinated right there. And that's how Giants want to play it, you know? Kite back, force Gambit to chase you, then land some of the CC. And if Alistar uses his combo offensively, well, he won't be able to stop the Galio. Then we're relying more on Betsy maybe being able to do something.
We were just talking about how they'd seemed so improved over the course of the split, and that was the throwback to the battle days, if you will, of them not being quite as coordinated, not playing as a team as much. As a result, Giants, they got 2 more kills from their mid laner. They got some vision control, and now Diamondprox looks to clear out the inner 2, but Frederick is there to renew it, or rather, place the ward down and put one on. Have to deal with that bottom lane sooner or later as there's a big wave piling on, but no members of Gambit are there to help that along. Giants still controlling side wave up in the top and the mid.
As long as Giants have objectives to fight over, where they can force Gambit to engage on them, we're talking around Barons, we're talking around Dragons and so on, they have ways of trying to control when to fight. Because again, they have such a low amount of engage themselves, outside of, how many skill shots or the flash Galio ulti. So they really want to make sure Gambit is forced to move with them. 2 Dragons to 0 is great for Giants. I mean, sure, binding from Morgana as well can start it, but
you're able to hit those has been very good at them, but not able to connect that one right there, still in all the chaos. 15 seconds or so until the next dragon is going to spawn, but Giants still keeping the siege on the second tier mid going. As long as they don't overcommit, there is little danger there. Now they go to set up for the Drake.
Yeah, we need to see more wards on the flanks though from Giants. This bottom lane jungle here was completely unwarded from them. Instead, they have full control anyway because of this poke they just landed. Takes the second dragon, no response, or third dragon, sorry, no response from Gambit at all. They need to be careful here. You cannot just keep giving up these dragons for free unless you know that you can fight for the next one. But nothing is ever going to be guaranteed for Gambit in this game.
Well, as we saw in the last game, you can have all the dragons you want. It may not be enough, but Gambit are still giving these ones up for free, and that is not to their benefit right now. 26 minutes on the board. Betsy claims the mid downed turret for Shurima. Giants Gaming still quick to react, moving up in towards this Baron as Gambit making a mad dash war with 4 members. They will start this one off.
Look at the ward outside here.
Spots forgiven. They know this is happening. Frederick
El Bandito
has the reputation to keep, and Gambit knowing this one. Back away! GoSu Pepper goes down to Adryh after slamming his way into the team. Frederick on the front line, and the fight is on as Forgiven and Betsy chunked low. Cabochard and Diamond have to back away. They get the speed boost, still running for it. Emperor's Divide to knock him back away. Meanwhile, however, in the 5v4, Giants are the ones that reign supreme. Cabochard and Diamond on the backside. The Rek'Sai ultimate wave race over to Diamondprox and Cabochard. Maybe a little too early. Frederick, what are you doing? He's gonna go down. Cabochard takes him out, but he's gonna pay for it with his life, and Diamondprox might just too. A double kill, another one from PePiiNeRO.
They just keep going though, Giants here to have that movement speed from the Galio. Can they get Forgiven?
The crit! Forgiven's down! Adryh running wild now. Betsy, he doesn't have an ult left. GoSu Pepper respawn, but that's not going to make a difference. Giants Gaming can now turn to the Baron themselves.
Yeah, Giants really have the ability to chase just because of Werlyb buffing up the rest of the team. GoSu Pepper, only member alive, and Gambit, such a risky Baron they were starting. They put up the tower in the mid lane, instantly went to Baron. GoSu Pepper.
Might be enough to distract him.
Whoa, whoa,
kill on GODFRED. Yes, they were low from that one. They do manage to kill the cow, but they can't take the Baron anymore, Deficio.
Oh, so he just managed to stop it. Still, 5 kills for Giants. Gambit, they're the ones starting this Baron here. That's so risky against all this CC. Only gets on the GoSu Pepper, pops the ulti. That's the flash gone as well from Werlyb. But it's only 4 members from Gambit alive. And it's so difficult now for them to find the right targets. Frederick just staying in front as the tank. We talk about these 280 carries in the back. If Gambit cannot get to these carries, Adryh and PePiiNeRO will just be able to do whatever they want. Frederick in the end is gonna... Oh yeah, fire across. Doesn't end up dying, but he buys time for the rest of the team.
It's worth, especially when it counts as a double kill for PePiiNeRO. He's really been starting to stack it up as well. The aftermath, they didn't secure the Baron. Just enough time bought, but still, a lot of kills.
Look at the value here, though. The Galio.
So much.
That attack speed, the movement speed. For the entire team. Forgiven.
That coin, too. Forgiven. Being targeted pretty low here, but Frederick is the one who gets turned around and has to burn his flash and tries to get out. Rune prisoned. Cabochard gets himself a kill and answer now. Giants a little overextending with their jungler.
Really like the home guards for Cabochard. That is one of the ways you can create these engages. Managed to get him. Forgiven played aggressive at first. Clearly had it all under control. Starting the Baron again. Diamond is very, very low. If they force him out, I mean, he's the smite. Even though Rek'Sai is not there, it suddenly becomes super difficult for Gambit. They really want to tunnel in this Baron. They feel like they need the Baron as well to stop some of this wave they come in for Giants against the minions in order for Gambit to start pushing down some towers. But Giants can just keep stopping them, and you cannot fight against so much CC in a small little Baron pit.
Frederick is back up. He races his way onto the Baron, immediately starting this one again. There's two members back here. No teleports, no smite, most importantly. Cabochard, they know where he is, and they are on this with the Jinx. They can really do it. No answer from Gambit. They know they've got to give this up, and Giants Gaming, a proactive Baron this time, but they secure it.
They get it, yeah. Again, Gambit are just feeling so forced to keep going Baron over and over in order to do anything in this game. Used so much in getting that one pick in the mid lane, and that's not enough for them. Still 3 dragons to 0 for Giants.
Big Goldie, though, as well.
Yeah.
And with this Baron buff, it's going to be even harder for Gambit to really get involved. The next dragon, just under 2 minutes away, a massive wave pushing in the bottom side. Only Cabochard's there to answer for it. A wave will soon push in the top as well. Giants have just about everything going for them at the moment.
And it's just the position Giants want to be in. When you have the poke, you're ahead and you know it's so hard for the other team to start fights, you can very easily just ward up your flanks, move down slowly but surely, poke them down, land a few hits, and then you take a tower.
This is the evolution that we've been wanting to see from Giants Gaming. Can they prove here they deserve to be in these playoffs after narrowly avoiding relegation a split ago? They've come such a long way in the standings. And when the fight for the playoffs here, as close as it is right now for these mid-tier teams, taking even the head-to-head with Gambit, that will be a powerful statement indeed.
Gambit winning yesterday, Unicorns of Love winning as well. A lot of teams managed to tie the Giants.
Rocket winning just a moment ago.
Rocket won just a moment ago. All these games are super important around you because it's been so close between the 7 teams. I believe everyone can still make the playoffs.
And just about everyone can still get relegated.
True.
So it's a fight that
that's a negative way, Pyra. I'm the positive.
All right.
They can make playoffs.
You can be the positive guy if you want to, fish. Yeah, that's okay. I'll bring you back down. See if Giants can crack this inhibitor turret here with the Baron buff they've got. It's going to be a while before the minions arrive. Yeah, but do have some solid wave clear here. There's a lot of...
The logo, man.
It's just a logo.
Sweep it away.
Spawned quite a lot of little X's there on the map. So, huge Baron-empowered minions here. They're not getting enough damage on the turret. Have to be careful not to overextend.
Oh, they will. They will. Slowly
and steady.
They'll get it. Diamond has to go through the base gate, but it's so difficult for him to move around. And that's the thing with this Baron buff and this double poke, or this one poke, sorry, PePiiNeRO. Count for 2, basically.
Well, and the cannon minion, that's poke 2.
Werlyb and the cannon minion, yeah, just
very valuable.
Slowly poke it down. If Gambit wants to run at you, you have the Galio ulti in the front.
And there it goes.
And that last pick has really worked so well for Giants.
Crack the base open. They can get themselves an inhibitor here. They do. Frederick with the zoning duty accomplishes it, and now Giants can back away, safely take themselves a dragon, or push down on the bottom. They've got to wait for it, too.
We'll get some damage on the way out. If you see Gambit, you just walk out anyway. Disengage away from it.
Lightnings and gusts flying.
Yeah, love the setup for Giants. Go to Dragon, do exactly the same. Gambit is really running out of time here.
Out of options. Giants don't even need too many members to start taking out this dragon at this point. They will have Adryh, GODFRED, and Frederick all on it. PePiiNeRO coming around the side, ready to warn any sign of danger. Dragon will go down quite easily. Number 4 in the pockets. And the rocket just pushing him away. Diamondprox trying to get a jump onto Frederick, but he should be able to speedo his way out of danger. Popping the coin, defensively disengaged. No objective here for Gambit to chase. They're only going for these kills. Smelling the blood, but they can't get the kill.
What's the next move then for Gambit? I mean, if you look at it, they don't really have a whole lot of options other than try and wait for the next Baron or next Dragon and then be there first. See if they can get a fight where Giants is walking blind in towards the objective. We mentioned the insane wave play from Giants. That's going to stop Gambit from sieging at this point as well, with defensive pink wards from Giants and with the minions pushing down in multiple lanes. It's very hard for Gambit to like sneak into their jungle, you know, try and set up a trap, because you get so much information just from the minions always pushing down.
There's so much control here from Giants. It seems like there's very little Gambit can do just because Giants are not making these mistakes. A couple, admittedly, they tried to go for this Baron when they were very low and they got pushed off. Didn't get too punished for it. Yes, GoSu got 1 kill on the board.
Sure.
But Gambit are making more mistakes than Giants are, and they're the ones that are paying the price.
Gambit felt forced to rush Barons, even when it wasn't safe. They felt like we have to get that Baron to stop some of the wave play, to start opening up a wave for us to push in on these towers. Because Giants is not going to allow us to just get these big open team fights where we can flank around them with the Ryze or the Gragas to knock them back, which is what they need to do. And it's really been tough for Gambit. Early game, Frederick had full control. I mean, Giants, they are so far ahead, they're even building double locket at this point.
Extra MR for the whole team.
Just go ban of command then at least.
Yeah, why not, right? And they've got 2 members pushing on the top side. You've got the Jinx and the Galio. They're going to have some serious clear with that. No answer, as everyone from Gambit are stacking mid. They're sticking together. This should be a quick take and run unless they get a bit spooked, as the disappearance of Gambit prompted that. It'll mean Betsy there to clear this one away. Still going to be a slow march to victory, as Giants are still not committing to anything with this poke composition.
No, but step 1, when you want to set up Barons, especially with poke comps, is you push out the lanes around it, so that's the mid lane and the top lane. That's what Giants did. Step 2 is you start walking in and set up your vision for themselves. Then you go back and you push out the waves again. And then, once you have full control of the minion waves and the jungle, you can see everything that's going on. You can start baiting this Baron here. You want to make sure there's 0 chance for Gambit to get that flank. Where do we have some wards around? Because Cabochard does have home guards. Gambit needs a ward on the other side of Baron, so Cabochard can TP to that one and then come in and try and get the back line. Otherwise, he's just going to have to run straight at them. That's going to be stopped by Morgana, Varus, whatever.
They have to avoid that flank, but at the same time, they're still grabbing some towers. They're still not getting themselves caught. There is a way pushing in Gambit's favor on the bottom side, but that's going to be a very slow pushing one. Gambit are trying to force their way up the middle. But with so many members of Giants here and the wave clear that they have as well, that is no easy task, and they back away from it.
Yeah, Giants have 2 globals to stop the wave here. Gambit might try and see if they can intercept them on the way, but decides to step back. So Giants will very easily be able to clear that one out.
Give it to Frederick. He's got Void Rush.
This is a chance for Gambit to go in and ward bind. Look what GoSu Pepper just did. He warded near the red buff. This can be key. If Cabochard can use that ward, surprise Giants because they didn't see it get placed, that's one of the ways for Gambit to potentially win a fight. And they have to be able to contest the next objective, being it Baron or Dragon. They cannot afford losing both of them. Now they're setting up a small trap. Giants have a second scrying orb on PePiiNeRO, so no reason to face shade right here. Look at Diamond as well, hiding behind the red buff.
Frederick clears out some of the vision as well. Diamond's still going for a flank, but he might run straight into Werlyb here. There is the scrying orb. Going to spot him out. Werlyb on the chase right now. Look at that level differential, 17 to 13. Diamondprox is not going to live very long as they've run right into him, throws out the cast, give this one over to Adryh, and he's on a rampage. Meanwhile, Gambit try some guerrilla tactics, hit and run on the tower. Won't be enough as GODFRED comes around the side. Idol of Duran for Werlyb, and he picks off Betsy. How about that damage? Looks for Forgiven, gets blown back. It is a 1-for-1 there, but the jungler was already gone. Now, looking for GoSu Pepper and Cabochard. Adryh gets himself another. GoSu, the rockets are flying. A double kill for Jinx. Forgiven, dashes the wall, tries to lay down a smoke to cover his escape, and he can't do it. Triple kill, and that's an ace for Giants Gaming.
Giants kept defensive pick wards in the jungle. That spotted Diamond. He was trying to sneak around him, see if he can get a flank. They caught him out, they killed him, instantly went back to mid lane. Beautiful engage from Werlyb, just one-shotting basically. Poor little Betsy here. Baron for Giants, they can walk down and take a dragon as well if they want to in about 40 or 50 seconds. They can get everything they need to close out this game.
Baron in their pockets, 38 minutes on the game. Let's see how it all began with a catch on Diamond.
Well, catch on Diamond. Look at the mid lane. Gambit is saying, okay, Diamond's trying to buy time. Let's see if we can at least get a mid tower so we get something. But Werlyb is going to stop that. He teleports in near the blue buff. I want to see his damage on Betsy. Once he jumps in, lands his entire combo. Cleanse is not enough to get out in time. Even stays in.
And then there was the rocket too.
And dies. Now, of course, just clean up all the rest of Giants here. 280 carries, completely untouched. Forgiven, while there's so little armor on the side of Giants, it's simply like you don't have enough damage. It's just a Graves here to do anything really. Trying his best, but nice team fight by Giants.
Now Werlyb might be caught up against the wall. Diamondprox, but the rest of the team is there. GoSu Pepper and Diamond running out. Diamond is caught. Big model. Big binding target, Betsy and GoSu Pepper. GoSu on the run, throws down the unbreakable will, but his health bar might get cracked in two. It does. PePiiNeRO picks up a godlike kill. Dragon should be free at this point. Well, they've rather earned it. Get the iron price. And looking for aspect number 5 to couple with their Baron. Every tool in the kit to finish this game out, and they get it.
Only thing they're missing to be a perfect situation is the flash for Werlyb, but I don't think that's going to be necessary, Pyra. You are so far ahead at this point. Gold, dragons, everything. Pushing 1,500 crits on these poor minions. Why not?
Yeah, but we're forced into the worst of the situations. And as you hear the music going, time is running out for Gambit Gaming. Their base is in shambles. The inhibitors are going down. The Nexus turret's next on the sights of Giants. 40 minutes on the clock. This will be Gambit's final stand. Can they pull the Alamo? Cabochard nearly gets taken down by the big rocket, goes back to heal. And Giants Gaming will close this one out methodically, looking for a Sun Disc just to buy some time, but it's not going to be much here. Giants Gaming just have way too much. Down goes Diamondprox, and now it looks like it's all going to be over from here, Deficio.
Yeah, you need a few more kills though if you're Giants. You gotta get them fantasy points.
Bye, Betsy. Bye, bye, bye. And Giants Gaming will look to finish this one out as they've killed 3 members of Gambit, sitting themselves on the fountain. Peppy steps a little close for comfort, but he doesn't go down as he gets out of harm's way. The Nexus has fallen 41 minutes in, and Giants Gaming, even the head-to-head, staying neck and neck in the playoffs.
The Galio last pick, for me, really turned the whole pick and ban phase around for Giants here. Gambit, they felt like, okay, we have Gragas, we have an Alistar building Righteous Glory, and then of course there's Azir. We should be able to reach these AD carries in the back line, but then Galio gets locked in, and suddenly you gotta save your combos because you need a way to interrupt the Galio ulti. This massive zone is just gonna be in the way when you're trying to reach these AD carries, and it suddenly meant that Gambit had to win that laning phase. It was looking okay at first, until we saw the Forgiven swap to the bottom lane, leave him alone even though Galio was pushing the wave, dive onto Forgiven, kill him, and that really just slowed down the early game so much for Gambit, and it allowed also PePiiNeRO to start scaling up. Giants got to group. Gambit felt, okay, there's only one way for us to win this game, we need to get some Barons, and they start rushing Barons, you know, super risky ones, and Giants just punished them every single time. And it was just in full control for them ever since. I really like the pickup into Ryze. We saw what the plan was. You go even in the start. Obviously, you get the early challenge, you get some MR, so Ryze can really kill you, and you just shove the wave over and over and over. You have an early game jungler. In this case, it was a Rek'Sai, and then you just time it with when the wave hits, you go down, you dive him. You just dive the Ryze. He's not going to stop you. And it became clear that Gambit had to swap away Cabochard, and from there on, they didn't have any answers. Once they start falling behind, and you had to like flank in, you know, Diamondprox in the jungle or TP. It just became too difficult for Gambit to do anything.
Yeah, they weren't able to get anything done. And from the last time they met, when Cabochard went huge, to this game when he wasn't able to get too much, almost kind of flips things on their heads. And this is how the playoff race is going right now. Giants Gaming come up huge. PePiiNeRO, massive number of kills. They utilized the Jinx of Adryh to its full potential to just knock down towers repeatedly. And there was always that wildcard Galio. This time, it was very, very strange, but it definitely caught Gambit off guard, and it definitely worked.
But this is just a story of the bottom 7 teams. They keep taking games off each other. Like, the EU LCS is the bottom 7 teams. Everyone beats everyone.
And then Fnatic wins.
And then Fnatic wins in the end, of course. But, like, the top 3 teams have, until they're slumped now of H2K, before was fairly consistent. Like, they would beat the other teams. They would stay in the top. But now every other team here, they just keep finding wins against each other. Now they're 1-on-1 in total. Gambit won the first one. Then Giants picks up the second win. And Galio, the 3rd rotation, last pick for them into double AP, into the Ryze. I liked it for them. Gambit simply didn't have any answers once they didn't win that early game.
100% win rate in the LCS.
I can't believe it. I was joking around about Galio, and then he gets locked in for Werlyb.
You have powers. You can't abuse them.
Apparently. Right? But like, this is a guy saying, you know, I don't want to play tanks. I don't want to play AP. He
does both.
You know? And now, I mean, Galio doesn't really fit into what Werlyb normally plays, but he had a great performance.
Yeah, and this is you've been saying he was getting buffed, is sneakily kind of climbing up there in his ability if you can land those Idol of Duran's. And even the Gusts were doing a whole lot of damage as well. That AP is so effectively utilized on Galio, and
if
this
teams
time
have to run
make
at you, it becomes a lot easier, obviously, for him. If you have to be the main engage, that's where I feel like Galio simply does not fit in, because he needs that flash so badly.
Yeah. But we didn't even see a huge number of like Flash Morgana chains or anything either. Like, he was pretty much just landing bindings. Every engage they had was just a catch on someone. And that's really all they needed. Every other time was Gambit running at them, like you said, and the counter engage was just too good.
It just gets so much easier if the other team is forced to, like, you know, run at you. You can see them, you have the vision control, and you have so many different skill shots. If one of them connects, you know that's enough to chain the CC, take down the target. Jinx would then get her passive proc, and you could just start cleaning house. And it worked out great for Giants. So very fun game to watch with the Galio pick coming in. And also fun to see how Giants just keep being so inconsistent. I have no clue what to expect whenever Giants play.
And maybe a playoff berth, and then we'll see what happens there. Maybe. But, you know, it's definitely been an improvement over their last split. And really got to give them the credit for this game. Gambit, they couldn't really make too many decisions, but Giants were the ones that were able to punish them, though. For now, we're going to send it over to the analyst desk.